Hi there, how are you this morning? Happy to come again and discuss about a certain word. And this word, I learned it recently during my training session. I recently qualified as a certified coach, and during the training last year in 2020, I learned one word called feeling. And it has never occurred to me that this is a very strong word. But before we go ahead, let's listen to this. Hi there, welcome again. This word called feeling is the most important word in the world because it determines your success or failure in life. Let me tell you this. During my training as a coach, we kept referring to this word called feeling. Let me tell you how we were using this particular word. First, when you are a coach and you have a coachee, you need to understand their current status. And you need to ask them, yes, you've come here to resolve a certain problem. Describe that problem. And once that coachee describes that problem, you need to ask them, how do you feel about it? How does that make you feel? The second thing you need to do is ask them in a rating or in a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the perfect status and 0 being the worst situation. Where are you currently? The coachee will tell you, I'm at 2 or I'm at 3. And then you'll ask them, how does a 3 feel like currently? And the coachee will somehow say, I'm frustrated. I'm feeling depressed. I just don't know what to do next. They will use all these words that describe how they feel currently at a scale of 3. The next thing you need to ask the coachee is, in the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the perfect, where would you want to see yourself in the next 12 months or in the next 6 months? And the coachee will say, perhaps I would want to be at a 5. In the next 12 months, I want to achieve a 5. And then you'll ask them, how does a 5 look like? How does it feel? And the coachee will say, I'll feel more confident. I'll have achieved X, Y, Z. I'll feel, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I feel elated. And in the process, you'll find the coachee getting excited, visualizing their success at a 5. And so for you listening to this podcast, I want you to imagine yourself in your best state, because everybody wants to be the best they can be. But then I want you to look back at your relationships with people and how you make other people feel, because that is what actually determines whether you'll be successful or a failure in life. Look at yourself amongst your colleagues in the office. When you're having a discussion or a conversation with your colleagues, how do you make them feel? Do they feel like they will come back to you if you're a boss, for example, if you're a manager? Do you make them feel like they can come back to you next time for a conversation or with a problem or share a difficulty they're having? Or do you scream at them? Do you make them feel like failures? In other words, they move away from you? How you make them feel as your employees or as your subordinates determines the success rate as a manager or your success rate as your manager. And therefore, I want you to, as you listen to this and you're a manager in your office, think about how you make the people around you, your employees, your seniors, your peers feel, and whether that has had a negative or positive effect. And you better start visualizing yourself at a higher scale. Look at yourself again amongst your family members or amongst your friends in the community. What type of a person are you? Are you the person who is always criticizing your other family members, who does not even allow them to complete a sentence because you can almost guess what they are just about to say? And then you complete them, you complete the statement, and you're all wrong, and therefore causes a conflict in your family. Because the success rate in your family amongst your spouse, your children, your other relatives, your siblings, that success rate of being a cohesive family is determined on how you make them feel when you're having a conversation. And therefore, again, I want you to visualize yourself in a family that is cohesive, that is supportive, that is, supporting one another, that is empowering each other. And I want you to think about what is this that you need to do to contribute to positive energy amongst the people that are around you. How would you want them to communicate to you, and how should you be communicating to them? Are you respectable? Do you speak to them with respect? Do you show them that even if they are wrong, there is a more respectful way of correcting what they've done? Are you a good listener? Do you listen to them until someone explains themselves so that you can respond to the issue other than guessing what they were just about to say? Do you listen to respond, or do you listen to counterattack? How you make the other person feel determines whether they will come back to you for conversation. And one reason why you find so many families nowadays that are not even communicating is because they don't listen to one another. They're hardly having conversations that are empowering each other. They're just counterattacking each other, right? Look at yourself in the community, your friends out there, the church you go to, the community service that you offer, your neighbors in the estate or in the neighborhood that you live in. How do you communicate with these people? How can they describe you? Put yourself in their shoes. Are you one person that they can rely on to build synergy within the community? Or are you one person who just brings negative energy every often? Now, I want you to look at a number of people that you know that are a bit advanced in age. Maybe they're over 70, over 80. How respected are they in the community they live in? It all depends on the kind of energy that they gave out as they were building their life. If it was positive, they are respected members of the community. It was negative energy, then they somehow seem to be very frustrated old ladies or old men. So I want you to visualize yourself at the age of 80, at the age of 90. How do you want to be relating with those people who are taking care of you? Because at that point in time, definitely, either your family members or your community will either be visiting you or they'll have disappeared, depending on the type or the kind of energy that you've been giving them over the period of time, right? So it's very, very important to understand that life is what you make of it. And when I talk about energy, we are all made of energy. And energy in motion is called emotion. And those emotions that you emanate from within you are the ones you receive back in return, sometimes multiplied several times. Because if you give a lot of positive energy, you're supportive to the community. You are the one who gives the solutions or the positive vibes to the young, to the old, to your peers. That means you get all that in return, because nothing goes out there and returns the other way. If you give negative energy, you get negative energy multiplied. If you give positive energy, you get positive energy multiplied. So never ever think that you will try and crush your competitor and you'll be successful. No. If you're crushing your competitor, you'll also get crushed along the way. The weapon you use to crush others is a weapon that will be used against you. So you better do what you'd want others to do towards you. So those are just a few words that I just thought about as a coach, that how do you make other people feel? Because that is the same energy that you'll attract towards yourself. And it just comes multiplied. You can Google and go to look for something called Law of Attraction, read about it, and you can comment below on this particular podcast. You can share this particular podcast. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel for more of these in coming days. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.